Stop and listen to me with both ears, for this is not merely about your future, it is about your children's. The eyes of tomorrow are watching you today. The habits you form, the decisions you make, the strength you show, or the weakness you tolerate, these will not die with you. They will live on in the lives of your sons and daughters. Picture them now. Picture your boy or your girl standing at the threshold of life, looking to you for the pattern, for the proof of what is possible. What do they see? Do they see a father or mother who lives with purpose, who fights with persistence, who acts with faith? Or do they see hesitation, excuses, and drift? Know this: they will imitate you. They will borrow your courage, or they will inherit your fear. They will echo your faith, or they will echo your doubt. Think of the power you hold. If you master yourself, if you obey the laws of success, your children will inherit more than money. They will inherit a spirit of definiteness, of courage, of vision. They will walk taller because you walked tall first. They will conquer where others fall because you taught them by example that failure is not final. Even when you leave this earth, your influence will march beside them, protecting them as surely as a shield. That is the legacy of a parent who obeys law. Now picture the opposite. Picture them years from now, uncertain, bitter, beaten before they begin, because you never taught them to believe. Picture them struggling with debt, small ambitions, and broken homes, because you passed down the poison of indecision, the weakness of drift, the cowardice of excuses. They will blame the world, but in their secret heart they will remember your example, and it will haunt them. What you do not conquer in yourself, you curse them to carry. This is why you must listen now, as if their future depends on it, because it does. Every law of success you neglect will cost them. Every law you master will bless them. To miss even one is to leave a crack in the foundation of their lives. Napoleon Bonaparte conquered nations but failed in tolerance, and his empire collapsed. Do you want your children to inherit an empire that cannot stand? Or do you want them to inherit strength that endures through generations? Ask yourself, what will your son say of you? What will your daughter remember of you? Will they look back and say, "My father was defeated, so I must be defeated too"? Or will they say, "My mother stood tall, and because she believed, I will believe also"? This is not a matter of chance. It is a matter of law. If you live with definiteness, if you act with faith, if you persist, if you build yourself according to the 16 laws of success, you will pass down not only money, but a legacy of power, purpose, and honor. But if you drift, if you excuse, if you surrender, you will condemn your children to repeat your defeat. So hear me, this is your brutal wake-up call. Rise for yourself, but more importantly, rise for them. For your children's future depends on you, and every day you delay, the debt you leave them grows heavier. Part 1, the law of inheritance. You cannot escape the legacy you are building. Every man is building an inheritance at this very hour, an inheritance not of money or possessions, but of thought, habit, and example. Whether he wills it or not, he is shaping the unseen foundation upon which his children will build their lives. Every word spoken in anger, every act born of discipline, every choice between faith and fear is a chisel stroke upon the monument of his lineage. The law is simple and inescapable. You cannot give what you do not possess. If your mind is filled with fear, you will pass fear. If your mind is ordered, your children will inherit order. If you have mastered your appetites, they will inherit strength. If you have surrendered to drift, they will inherit weakness disguised as temperament. The blood may carry your features, but the mind will carry your habits. I have seen the same law at work in empires and in homes. Nations rise by the discipline of one generation and fall by the negligence of the next. The same pattern governs families. What you conquer within yourself becomes the fortress your children inhabit. What you neglect becomes the crack through which their peace escapes. There is no neutral influence. Every thought you think travels forward through time, shaping lives you will never meet. Picture two homes. In the first, the father rises each morning with purpose. His face is calm, his words deliberate. When trial comes, he meets it as a man who expects victory, not excuses. His children, though they do not understand his philosophy, absorb his composure as easily as they breathe. They grow certain that life obeys discipline, that obstacles yield to persistence. Years later, they will face the storms of their own lives with the same quiet strength. Now picture the second home. The father wakes grudgingly, complains of circumstance, speaks of failure as though it were his inheritance. He ridicules those who dream, scorns those who succeed, and blames fortune for his poverty. His children learn early to distrust hope. They imitate his tone, they adopt his outlook, and they grow to believe that life is something to be endured, not mastered. Thus, the sins of indecision pass down through generations as surely as the sins of vice. Andrew Carnegie's father gave him little wealth but much belief. The elder Carnegie taught him that poverty was temporary, that effort and faith could rewrite destiny. That belief did not die with Andrew. It multiplied through every library he built, every man he inspired to study, every worker he lifted through opportunity. That is inheritance rightly used, belief becoming structure, structure becoming civilization. Contrast this with the countless men who left behind only bitterness, quarrels, or debts. Their children began life already burdened by defeat, learning not how to climb, but how to complain. The inheritance of weakness is more expensive than the inheritance of debt, for a creditor may be paid, but a broken spirit costs generations. The subconscious mind of a child is like fertile soil. It accepts whatever seed is sown within it, whether of fear or faith, order or confusion. It does not question, it imitates. Long before the child can reason, he feels. He senses the tone of your voice, the rhythm of your moods, the energy that fills your home. These become the unspoken language of his future. A household ruled by complaint trains a mind to expect injustice. A household ruled by faith trains a mind to expect opportunity. Imagine a boy awakened at night by the sound of his parents arguing over money. He learns, without being told, that money is cause for fear. He grows cautious, distrustful of enterprise, skeptical of ambition. When chance for fortune appears, he shrinks back. His father's argument echoes louder than any teacher's counsel. Now imagine another child, hearing his parents speak calmly of plans, working together toward a goal. He learns that life can be organized, that money is servant, not master. That knowledge becomes his fortune long before he earns a dollar. Do not mistake this for superstition. It is law. Every thought carries vibration. Every emotion radiates influence. And the atmosphere of a home is the sum of its dominant thoughts. You can feel it when you enter. Some homes breathe peace, others confusion. It is not furniture or decoration that creates the difference. It is mind. The home is the laboratory where the chemistry of character is brewed. I have walked into homes where wealth was absent, but greatness present. The father's voice was steady, the mother's eyes clear with faith, and the children, though dressed plainly, glowed with confidence. They were rich in the only currency that endures, the habit of right thought. I have also entered homes of luxury where bitterness hung like smoke. Fear had built the mansion, and fear would one day destroy it. Every day you live, you are writing an invisible book, your children's textbook of life. They will read your reactions more closely than your instructions. They will study how you rise after defeat, how you speak of others, how you greet adversity. They will take from your life their definition of manhood, womanhood, work, love, and faith. If you have learned to see life as opportunity, they will inherit hope. If you have learned to see life as punishment, they will inherit despair. Understand this, you cannot hide your mental state. The mask of composure may fool the stranger, but not the child. He feels when your smile is painted. He knows when fear is behind your laughter. The mind of youth is tuned to truth. It perceives vibrations more clearly than the words that deny them. Thus, example is inescapable. A wise parent governs his home as a statesman governs a nation, with self-command, foresight, and moral law. He does not speak idly, for he knows every word is seed. He does not react hastily, for he knows every gesture becomes pattern. He disciplines his own tongue before he disciplines his child's hand. There are fathers who believe they can correct their children's faults through punishment, not realizing that they themselves have planted those faults by daily display. A father who punishes his son for impatience while living impatiently is a sculptor chiseling water. Only example hardens virtue into habit. Repeat this affirmation until it becomes the fiber of your being. I am the foundation of strength in my home. My calm creates confidence in those who depend on me. My faith becomes my children's inheritance. Let these words remind you that every hour of self-mastery compounds interest in your children's future. Look upon your daily life as a bank account of influence. Each act of faith is a deposit. Each act of fear a withdrawal. At the end of your days, your balance will not be measured in coins, but in the character of those who come after you. If you spend your years in drift, your children will begin their own with deficit. But if you live with definiteness, your children will inherit wealth beyond calculation, certainty, courage, and faith. This inheritance cannot be written in wills or guarded by law. It must be lived. The father who leaves gold but no discipline leaves temptation. The father who leaves discipline but no gold leaves opportunity. Which is the greater gift? The answer is written in every story of squandered fortune and every rise from poverty to greatness. The greatest fortune any parent can bequeath is moral wealth. The knowledge that success obeys law, that fear is illusion, that persistence conquers. A single generation of faith can transform an entire bloodline. Look at history. Families who lifted themselves from obscurity to distinction all began with one mind that refused to drift. Therefore, make your home a place where right thinking is as natural as breathing. Let your children hear not complaints but plans, not gossip but gratitude, not argument but faith. Train them not by command but by atmosphere. Let them see that in your world, discipline is joy, effort is privilege, and faith is fact. If you live this truth, your children will not have to search for examples in books. They will have one walking before them. They will not waste years unlearning your errors. They will begin life already armed. This is how you save 10 or 20 years of their struggle, by removing from their path the obstacles your own mind once built. Close your eyes now and see your children as they will be when you are gone. Their speech, their habits, their confidence will be echoes of your present self. Ask yourself, what inheritance am I building in them this hour? Whatever answer comes, know this: it can be changed today. Each sunrise gives you a new chance to build differently, to replace irritation with patience, worry with purpose, complaint with gratitude. Every small victory of thought becomes a blessing written into your family's future. You need not build an empire of steel or stone. Build one of mind and faith, and it will outlast both. For the home is the workshop of destiny, and you are its master craftsman. The legacy you build in silence today will march on when your voice is gone, shaping men and women yet unborn. Therefore think greatly, speak calmly, act decisively. For what you are, they will become, and through them, you will live forever. Part 2. The mirror of example. Children become what you are, not what you say. There is a law in nature older than speech and stronger than command. Children do not listen, they imitate. The subconscious mind of youth is an open page, and upon it the parent's actions write indelible law. Words fade, sermons are forgotten, but the example of a parent ingrains itself upon the soul as surely as water shapes stone. A father may speak of honesty while cheating in small things, thinking his cleverness unseen. Yet the child observes, not with intellect but with instinct, and absorbs the lesson, that truth is negotiable, that conscience may be bent for gain. The child grows, repeats the same behavior, and the father wonders why correction fails. It fails because words cannot erase example. A mother may tell her daughter to walk with dignity and faith, yet if that mother speaks fear each morning and complaint each night, the daughter learns anxiety, not grace. She may obey the command for a season, but soon she will copy the pattern she has absorbed more deeply than instruction. You cannot build a temple of faith upon a foundation of fear. The home is a mirror. Every thought, every emotion, every habit of the parent is reflected in the character of the child. When a man looks upon his son's temper, his laziness, or his timidity, he looks upon the echo of his own mind. The same law that governs inheritance of blood governs inheritance of belief. You do not teach what you wish. You reproduce what you are. Abraham Lincoln's mother left him no estate, no wealth, not even the guidance of long years. Yet in her short life she gave him something rarer than gold, the example of faith and honesty. Her calm fortitude became his shield. When his enemies mocked him, when war divided the nation, he stood with her spirit behind him. That is the power of right example, the immortality of influence. Now look at the opposite. Napoleon Bonaparte conquered nations, yet he could not conquer himself. His pride became his prison. His arrogance, admired at first, turned to tyranny, and his empire crumbled into dust. He left no noble example, only ambition without restraint. His name endures, but not his peace. He proved that victory without virtue breeds ruin, not legacy. Every home, whether palace or hut, carries within it these two seeds, the seed of Lincoln or the seed of Napoleon. One grows into strength, the other into destruction. The choice lies not in the child's temperament, but in the parent's example. A father once said to me, "I want my boy to believe he can accomplish anything." I asked, "Do you believe it of yourself?" He hesitated. His silence was the answer. The boy had already learned limitation from his father's eyes. It is not what you declare that shapes your child. It is what you believe when no one is watching. When a child sees his parent face adversity with calm, he learns courage before he ever defines it. When he sees faith applied under pressure, he learns that belief is not theory but power. But when he sees panic, bitterness, or complaint, he learns that words are masks and that fear is stronger than faith. Thus, the hypocrite trains defeat even as he speaks of victory. Consider this truth. The subconscious mind of the child does not reason. It accepts example as command. You may say, "Do as I say, not as I do," but nature will laugh at your defiance. For her law is absolute. Behavior outweighs instruction. The child sees your real religion in your reactions. The God you serve is the habit you obey. A mother once said to her son, "Never lie." Yet each time the doorbell rang, she told him, "Say I am not home." Years later, when that boy deceived her, she called him ungrateful. He was not ungrateful. He was obedient to her example. The seed she planted had borne fruit. Let this thought strike deeply. Every act of yours is a lesson. Every complaint, every praise, every careless word becomes scripture in the mind of your child. If you would raise him to nobility, you must walk nobly. If you would teach him strength, you must conquer your weakness. If you would make him faithful, you must live by faith. Abraham Lincoln once said, "All that I am or hope to be, I owe to my angel